Let me introduce myself. Hello, my name is Putri Nabilla N.S. I'm a student from President University. I'm majoring in international relations. You can find me on my Instagram at benabilanov, or you can reach me on my email below. Thank you.
Hello guys, finally we go to the week 9, that is political ideologies and introduction. It means that we just basically talking about the introduction. We're gonna take example about the famous one, um, ideologies, famous ideologies. Enjoy. Okay, the meaning of ideologies. So, in short, ideology is a belief that tells the group what is right and what is wrong. And from Sargent, Contemporary Political Ideologies, this is this book, is an ideology is a system of values and beliefs regarding the various institutions and processes of society that is accepted as fact or truth by a group of people, and an ideology provides that believer with a picture of the world both as it is and as it should be, and in doing so, it organized the tremendous complexity of the world into something very simple and understandable. So, an ideology is a system of values and belief or set of beliefs that people accept it as a fact according to the group. For example, Rukun Islam in Islam as a self-evidence. The Muslim believe that Rukun Islam is something that we accept, we believe in it, and that's fact. And then the function of ideology is to help simplify the reality. For example, because there is about what misconception about a state form. So there will be this example. That's what kind of state China, what form of government that China has, and what is the main ideology of the Chinese government. What is the answer? So the first answer will be China is actually a republic. A republic is where the highest mandate lies in the representative elected by the people, and authority is not inherited. The name is Republic of China, and the form of government is a Leninist, a single party. It means that there is a single party that controls the entire apparatus of government. The party acts as a central authority that intervenes in many affairs, and there is little to no political opposition. And the third, the last, the ideology of China is a unique form of communism. China's communism has evolved over the decades. It used to be revolutionary during Mao, then become less under Deng Xiaoping, who liberalized the country, and it has now become more expansive under Xi Jinping. If we go back here to the question here, in Indonesia, what kind of state is Indonesia? What form of government does Indonesia has? And what is the main ideology of the Indonesia government? So the answer will be the state of Indonesia is unitary republic or res publica, and the form of government is representative democracy, and the ideology is Pancasila. So we go to the ideological spectrum. It's about the first one. How much do you like change? In the spectrum, there is like no change, or middle, or even a progress for life. The no change is about anti-mainstream, and the middle is mainstream, and then progress for life is anti-mainstream. So if you are in the position of no change at all, it means that you are conservatism. This is usually characterized as being resistant to change, a willingness to stick to tradition, skepticism of human reason and nature, and emphasizing society as a whole rather than the individual. Then the difference of conservatives is conservative nationalism, the idea that the nation has to be preserved by any means, can become full-blown fascism, for example, like Nazi. And moderate conservatism is a balanced position which values both individualization. It means that you are a liberalism person. So liberal group, it's the idea that individual liberty should be maximized because it allows progress. State apparatus should not be judged based on tradition, but rather their work in maximizing the protection of individual rights. This variant includes Eastern liberal nationalism. The nation needs to be more inclusive for maximum progress potential. And moderate liberal, a liberal who likes individual liberty but also favors gradual steps toward progress. And the second of spectrum is individual liberty versus state authority. How do you want to choose? Full state authority, or in the middle, or no state authority at all? So if you believe on full state authority, that is totalitarianism, that the idea that the state should have total control over the lives of their citizens, allowing very little room for individual expression of liberty. For example, like China, the social credit system. And the variants include as authoritarianism, like Suharto era and Park Chung-hee, and fascism is Hitler's Germany, Stalinist or Maoist communism, and then autocracy, that is Roman Empire. And if you don't believe about the state authority at all, no state authority at all, like we have discussion, like we have discussing before about the anarchism. So the idea that the state should have no control over the individual and the state should not even exist in the first place. The extreme is rejection of control. So variants include is libertarianism. It's about Robert Nozick, Garden Court, and then anarcho-communism. It's Kropotkin, consequence of breed. This is like the recommend book or film. And anarchic mutualism, it means that you work together and they will get feedback. That is anarcho mutualism belief. And the third is, should economic activity be regulated and should wealth be distributed? What you want to choose? Not at all, middle, or a lot. If you believe that not at all economic activity be regulated, that means that you are a capitalist. So the state should have minimum intervention in the economy. The individual should be free to pursue their economic interests and gain wealth. The variants include is neoliberalism, reduction law, modern capitalism. And the second is narco-capitalism, no state control over business, not at all. And then mercantilism is VOC, is the richest multinational corporation in history. We agree about that. VOC is allowed to produce their money in mercantilism. So the other is social capitalism, is economic system like Norway. In the Norway is ideal kind of capitalism that benefit everybody. The state invests more in business to provide its people. And the last is licensed capitalism without rules. And if you believe that the state should control about economic, that means that you are a communist. So economic activities should be regulated heavily by the state and its benefit ought to be distributed equally to all according to their needs. If you do business, you share the benefit to others. It's about sharing wealth. And variants include is anarcho-communism, syndicalism, green socialism, and democratic socialism. And we go back to the outside the spectrum then. So there are also contemporary ideologies which are variants of the spectrum, such as feminism, environmentalism, and Islamism are included in this category. So we're gonna talk first about feminism. There are feminists sees the world through feminist lens. The dominant narrative has been built by men, so we have to get same access to that, which has marginalized women because the dominant narrative has been built by men, so which has marginalized women. And if you want to know more about the feminism, you can read the book by Betty Friedman, Feminine Mistake. And the second is environmentalism, which views the survival of the environment as an ultimate political objective. Governments need to emphasize protection and of environment rather than industry. And Islamism is political Islam. The counter narrative to modern liberalism advocates the implementation of Sharia as interpreted in the Quran and all aspects of socio-political life. For example, Hizbut Tahrir or ISIS or Wahhabism is basically a system of ideas that acts as a lens on how we view reality. Through the lens, we then create the best form. And there are many ideologies out there through different measure important basic tenets such as authority, liberty, and justice. Thank you. So I think that's all for me for this week. That is week 9. Thank you. If you have comment, you have advice for me, feel free to contact me via email. Thank you for my lecturer, that is Gusti Bagus Dharma Agastia, that give this material. All of the materials belong to him, and then thank you so much for explaining this material so well so I can understand easily. Thank you so much. So guys, this is the end of the presentation. If you have any comment, advice, or even you want to revise it, please feel free to contact me via email. And I want to give credit that all of this material is below to my lecturer, that is Gusti Bagus Dharma Agastia. Thank you so much, sir, for the material, and you delivered the material so well. Thank you. Have a nice day, everyone.